What, due to experience, do you know not to fuck with? Chickens while there are chicks present. My brother is a cruel little shit who liked being mean to animals while we were kids. He liked hurting them for the feeling of power it gave him. So he hurt a lot of small wildlife, like frogs, garter snakes, and mice. When that stopped being enough, he decided to go after livestock. We had chickens. There was a great big rooster and his ladies, and all of them had chicks. My job was to take care of the chickens, feed them, water them, collect eggs, etc. My brother was bigger and stronger than me, so one day he decided to have fun and grabbed up one of the little chicks in the coop and squeezed it until it started to scream for help. My attempts to stop him did nothing. Now, the chickens were used to me picking up the chicks and petting them, so they weren't alarmed when my brother picked up the chick. When it screamed, however, all hell broke loose. All the chickens went after him, going for his face and eyes. The rooster had spurs on his legs over an inch long, and he cut big grooves on my brother's face, missing his eyes by millimeters. They swarmed him and bullied him until he dropped the chick and ran out of the coop, crying with blood on his face. He was 10 at the time and should have known better. Did he stop being mean to animals? No. Did they punish him for it when they could? The animals sure did. Chickens are very much like the cuckoos in the Zelda games. If you hurt one, they will all swarm you. Edit, I got several questions, and I will detail them here so people don't have to go digging through comments. Yes, my brother and I were both abused by our father. Our mother was a kind woman who did her best to nurture and discipline my brother. She died when I was 7 years old and my brother 9 years old from cancer. My father went off the deep end and took out his rage on us both. He worked 2 shifts at a factory daily and did not want to be disturbed when home, or he would beat us. So no, there was no adult supervision, and we were left to our own devices, except for a weekend here and there when our maternal grandmother would have us. She also did her best, but our father excused and enabled my brother's behavior because he was more valuable in his eyes compared to me, a sickly girl. We did go to school. Yes, CPS was called a couple of times, and my father told everyone that I was a pathological liar, so nothing came of it. My brother most likely had a genetic flaw or some inherited mental health disorder that kept him from feeling empathy. However, our father did not believe in mental health services, so my brother never got therapy or help. I fully believe he would have turned out to be a different person if he had these services. Instead, he was isolated, abused, and enabled. It made him entitled and gave him the need to exert his will over everyone. If he wanted something, he simply took it, including my innocence. He grew up into a terrible adult. No, he didn't kill anyone. I don't believe he would kill anyone because he likes to manipulate people, and you can't manipulate a dead person. He instead became a thief, a rapist, and fell hard into drug use. The last time I spoke to him was in 2013. I have fully cut him off from my life and have not spoken to him since. Maybe he has changed in these 10 years, but I have no way of knowing. Once in a while, I scan obituaries looking for his name, but otherwise I have nothing to do with him. I acknowledge that he had a messed up beginning like I did. However, he willfully chose to hurt me and has never apologized or acknowledged what he did to me, even as an adult. I may have forgiven him if he had at least acknowledged what he did was wrong, but he believes he did nothing wrong. So for my health and safety, I chose to cut him out. I have been diagnosed with CPTSD, and I will have it for the rest of my life. However, I spent the last decade in therapy learning how to cope and live with what happened to me. Some days are better than others, but I am genuinely happy and am in a safe place, several states away, surrounded by my friends who have become my new loving family. So yes, I'm okay now. I don't fear him or my father coming after me because they are lazy cowards, and I'm too strong now to allow them to hurt me. If any of them contact me about giving up a kidney or a liver lobe, I will laugh in their faces and then get a restraining order. Story number 2. Precipitation. When it is cold outside. I got caught in a snowstorm in Shenandoah National Park in March 2019. It was 50 degrees in the valley, but I got 2 feet of snow on the top of the ridge. The forecast did not call for any precipitation that day. I was hiking on the Appalachian Trail and thought that a few flurries were nothing to worry about. I left a lean-to shelter that would have kept me dry and protected from the wind. I hiked less than 6 miles and was struggling to move forward because the snow was so deep. I was soaked to the bone, freezing cold, and beginning to lose fine muscle control in my fingers. The trail followed the side of a ridge and was not providing me any flat spaces to set up a tent. I eventually found a clearing where some power lines crossed the trail and struggled to get my tent erected despite the loss of feeling in my fingers. Once my tent was set up, I got my sleeping pad and sleeping bag deployed, got out of my wet clothes, and crawled into the bag for an hour to warm up. I didn't even have a cell signal where I could let someone know my exact location and that I was okay. I had been in contact the previous evening, so my girlfriend knew my location to within a couple of miles. The snowstorm lasted all night, and I had to spend a full 24 hours in the tent before the snow stopped. The next day after the snow stopped, I packed up my camp and kept hiking through the 2 feet of snow. The trail crossed Skyline Drive after a short distance, and I followed that road for about 9 miles to the nearest park entrance. I called a shuttle and spent the night in Waynesboro, VA, at a hiker hostel. The warm shower, boot dryer, and warm food were exquisite. When you make an error in judgment in the wilderness, the goal is to survive long enough to learn from your mistake. I learned my lesson. I will not screw around when dealing with precipitation and cold weather. If there is any doubt, I will just hunker down and wait for the wet weather to pass. Story number 3, dogs. Absolutely dogs. Don't get me wrong. Dogs are incredible, and they have the capacity for so much love and so much good. I think dogs are one of the best things on the planet. But a sick dog or a scared dog or an injured dog or a mentally unstable dog can do an insane amount of damage with its teeth. I work with lots of dogs and got a level 4 bite from a normally perfectly well-behaved dog. She was an angel to work with. Obedient, loving, loyal, gentle, intelligent, and overall everything you could ever want in a dog. She got sick, though, and another dog hit one of the areas that was more tender. The next thing you know, she's latching on to the closest thing to her with those teeth, which happened to be my leg. It's called misplaced aggression and is strictly a self-defense response. But boy, this seemingly perfect dog left me with bite scars that will last the rest of my life. The second she realized she bit me, as she came out of that fear state, she released and was mortified. She licked me all over, and the next several times I saw her, she licked at my bandages and then my scar. It was obvious she felt awful about it. And yes, the vet proved there were specific, well, more like multiple specific health issues that caused this. She had an infection in her vagina and systemic inflammation from an immune system issue, and the other dog fell into her behind area while I was walking beside her by her head. Anyways, don't mess with dogs. Don't mess with strange dogs. Don't mess with sick dogs. Don't mess with fearful dogs. Don't mess with injured dogs. Take every precaution you can if you are rescuing a dog like this. Better safe than sorry. A level 4 bite was enough to make me second-guess my relationship with my dogs, and my dogs are my whole world. I adore my dogs. Those bites are incredibly traumatic, though. They're really painful. I can't even imagine a level 5 bite, mauling, or seeing a level 6 bite, killing. We get so used to our friendly furry companions that it's easy to become complacent about their predatory prowess and their self-defense capacity. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's story, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more incredible Reddit tales. Share your thoughts or your own experiences in the comments below. I love hearing from you all. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring those amazing stories.